Okay, I'm going to make some basically cream cheese Danish. This is going to be low carb. What I've got here is 2 ounces of full fat cream cheese, and I want to show you on the package. There are lines on here. Each line is 1 ounce, and an ounce in this is 2 tablespoons. So I've got 2 ounces of cream cheese in here, and that's 4 tablespoons of cream cheese. I've added 2 tablespoons of butter. Cream cheese, if it's whipped, will hold butter at a ratio of 2 parts cream cheese, 1 part butter. So I've got 4 tablespoons cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of butter. If you wanted to do a smaller amount, do 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, 1 part butter. So it's always 2 to 1, and you'll still retain the flavor of the cream cheese, and it'll also cut the carbohydrate count down if you just want some spreadable cream cheese for something. So what I've done is put that in here. I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of vanilla. Is that a half? Yes. And for this recipe, I've got 6 packs of various sweeteners here. Use whatever is good for you. And I'm going to put 3 of them in this bowl. That's going to be microwaved for about 30 seconds. I just want to soften the cream cheese. Okay, that's microwaved for a while. And if I try to move this with a fork, these are not going to, it'll kind of look, curdled, you can see, and it really will not mix together. So a fork won't work, but if you whip it, it will, and I'm going to do that, kind of slope a small bowl. I'd suggest you use a smaller one, a larger one. And that's about all it takes, and that's very creamy, and you can see. Alright, wash my beaters. I don't want any oil to get in my egg whites when I do those. So I'm going to set my cream cheese mix aside. What I've got here is 3 eggs, and I've separated them so that I have 3 whites in a large bowl, and the 3 yellows are in the small bowl. In the large bowl, I'm going to put 1/8 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and this has a sprinkle top. And I just kind of know how much 1/8 of a teaspoon is. So I'm going to put that in there, and you may certainly measure it. I'm also going to put in my yellows, I'm going to put 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 3 of my packets of sweetener. Again, use whatever kind of sweetener you like. What I'm doing here is I like to use what's the most available and inexpensive. And you can get these kinds of sweeteners even at a dollar store. Here's another one here. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, pink ones, blue ones, yellow ones. Not everyone uses them, and again, those are like the cheapest ones. I have a couple others here, and you'll just look on here and see the equivalent of, I think each of those packets is like a teaspoon or a little more of sugar equivalent. Okay, the first thing I want to do is, because I don't want anything in my egg whites except for what's here, no oil, no egg, no nothing, no egg yellow, so I'm going to beat this. And I demonstrated this before, that if you hold this up, it's going to, the beaters are this far into the whites. So if I do tilt it like this, they are almost 1/3 of the way in. And I'm going to beat that for probably 2 to 5 minutes until it's not just stiff peaks, but almost sort of dryish peaks. And I'll be right back when that's done. Now, I don't have to rinse these beaters. What I'm going to do is set this aside, get my yellow mix here, and just pop it down in there and give it just a few short bursts on low. That's all. I just need it mixed. Release these, put them in the sink, and put my spoons away. And I'm going to fold this in. And 1/3 at a time. There are a few things. If you are used to making oopsie rolls, you'll know that cream cheese usually goes in here, and I didn't have it one time, so I tried it without it, and it turned out okay. I didn't notice a lot of difference, and it's saving me a very small amount of carbohydrates by not putting it in there. But I use my cream cheese somewhere else, so it's balancing out pretty good. I'm using a little more than what was in the original recipe. Also, with this, since I put lemon juice in here, this is going to be thinner than what you would normally fold in here. So it's going to be a little more runny than usual. So anyway, I'm going to do about 1/3 of this at a time. And if you watched me before, I'm not really careful. My egg whites are very stiff. So, and a couple of things you can do is, I do this often starting with a warm bowl, and if you've just washed it and dried it with a towel, it's going to be warm. Your eggs can be room temperature. You know, not a hot bowl, of course, but just, you know, something at least room temperature. Especially it's summer now, we can have, you know, an air conditioning going or something, and your bowl can be cold, so that helps a little bit. If you want, this is interesting, if you want this to have a smell that's sort of like the old yeast roll smell, instead of using an 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar, use an 1/8 teaspoon of white, or I just say white vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar if you want. But that smell is very similar, baking, to the smell of yeast. It kind of smells homey. Alright, you can tell I'm not real careful. Folding is like this, an S-curve, and bring it over. Or like this and bring it over. Usually people don't scrape the sides. I do. Alright. I've got a parchment covered baking pan here. A lot of times when I'm making these, I'll make them sort of in the shape of a crescent roll, so it'll go down like this. But what I want to do is not use quite that much batter, and I'm going to put it down from the tip. Where are you? So I make sure that you're with me on the camera. Alright, I'll put it right here. Okay, and I'm going to put it down on the tip and kind of tap and bring it in a circle, and it's going to be just a little bit rounder. Later I'm going to flatten that top out a little bit. And let me do it again. And you can put these in a pan like this if you want to. I don't have a lot of luck with those, but they're fun, lots of fun. And I don't really need them to be perfectly round. I just want something sort of round. And I'm going to finish putting these on here. Let's do another one. A little bit more on that one. Alright, I'll finish putting these on here and be right back. Alright, just to repeat, I'm going to flatten these tops out a little bit. It's going to pull back up wherever I pull this up. But I just kind of want them, I don't really want a big mound for this, for what I'm doing now. And I'm not trying to spread them thin or anything like that. I just kind of want them flatter. Alright, I'll have a little extra, find a small one, and just put it on there. Alright, be right back. Alright, this is my cream cheese mix again, and what I'm going to do is I've got just a regular eating teaspoon, and I'm going to fill that about half up, scrape off with I have a small spatula. You can use your finger, just wash your hands, it's your food, or use another spoon, whatever. And I'm going to take about half of it, half of that full, and put it kind of on top and into each one. So let me see. I'm turn my hand so you can see. I'm just going to scrape this off and give it a little push. Alright. Now you can set it right on top and it'll work just fine, but I don't want it to go down very deep in it. I have you know, I've used more of this before and had it go all the way through to the bottom. This amount won't. So you use less rather than more. You'll have some of this left over, and you know, you can go back and just evenly dispense that onto the tops. I'm showing my ambidextrous skills here. I wouldn't even think about that. Let me go ahead and change hands. I can do most things with my left hand, but just easier sometimes to go righty with it. Alright, I think I got that pretty evenly out of there. Alright, I'm going to take this and just kind of, you know, move it a little bit on there, because it's thick, but it's thin enough you can still move it some on top of the egg white. And again, just don't push it all the way to the bottom, just do it gently. Oops, I missed one. I'm going to scrape my bowl here. I often do that. The egg whites and the cream cheese are both white, and I didn't see it. That's funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, then by God, you just need to go home. Alright, I think that'll do it. Now I am reserving 1 pack of sweetener, either kind, for after these come out of the oven. These will bake from 33 to 35 minutes at 300. The reason it's more time than Oopsie rolls, and they're usually 30 minutes, is that there's a tablespoon of extra liquid in the lemon juice that's in this batter. So I'm going to pop these in the oven, and I'll be back with you when these are finished. Alright, it's been a little over 33 minutes. And I want you to notice that these will brown a little more than regular Oopsie rolls will, and the best I can figure it's because of the lemon in them. What I'm going to do is use my last packet of sweetener and just sprinkle that over the tops, and it ought to be enough to cover all of them. You can certainly use more, but count the extra carbohydrates in it. And that is it. I'm going to hold a few of these up. A few of them got a little darker than the others, so you can see them. And they are going to be soft on the inside. You can see them. You can bend them. They're fluffy. And if I pull them apart, there. Pretty much like an Oopsie roll. It'll have a slight lemony taste, and the lemony taste is something more toward an angel food cake, or I'm trying to think what else had. Twinkie had a sort of lemony taste to it. Of course, these aren't like Twinkies, but it's a good substitute for the cream cheese Danish for me. That's it. Thank you. Bye.